fruit. I paint pictures with my words, tangled thoughts and fears. Growinggames.com, tangled thoughts and feelings.
Hey there guys, and welcome to another one. Yep, that's right. Welcome to another episode of the Growing Gamers podcast. My name's Tori Favreau. We're coming live and direct from Geelong, Victoria, Australia, and this show is explicit. Well, it can be at times. I say that at the start, so as if I decide to throw in the swears, I can, because, you know, we've all got the right for the swears. We're going to throw swears in sometimes. Thank you everyone for supporting the show. We've cracked well up, the 100-odd episode mark, and it's really appreciated. So this episode is just simply going to be a review of the movie The Invisible Man, starring Elisabeth Moss. And let me tell you right now, I watched that last week at the cinema, and it was a good time. Look, initial thoughts on the movie were, it's good, it's not great, but it is good. Solidly written, with a really tight script. I like the fact that The Invisible Man, basically it is a thriller with some scary elements involved. The basic story is that there's a woman who is living as a prisoner in her own home with her husband. She manages to get away, and it's pretty intense when that bit happens. It takes place early in the movie, and basically her husband is a control freak who decides that, not on my watch, fucking sister, not on my watch, you're not going to get away without me being in control of everything. And he's controlled every aspect of their life together, including, what she eats, how she dresses, yada, yada, yada. He's a brilliant inventor who deals with optical illusions, but using science, and she rapidly becomes aware of the fact that even though he has a notice of death, she's been informed by his brother, who is a lawyer, that he has passed away and she's to receive a massive inheritance from the estate. She rapidly comes to the realization that this guy is not dead, and in fact is still stalking her and the family with whom she seeks refuge with. And that's where the insanity and all the thrills and spills do take place. It's not a scary movie per se, but it is certainly one where you will get little jump scares throughout. You'll get some big jump scares throughout. The reasoning behind the invisibility is very well handled. It deals with optics as opposed to just, oh, look at me, I drank a fucking potion and now I can do whatever I want. It is just a really nice way of changing it up a little bit. So no supernatural occurrences are taking place. However, the guy is invisible and he is stalking the hell out of her, and it escalates and escalates and escalates. Despite the fact that, there wasn't a great deal they could do with the movie per se. I said per se a bit now. Despite the fact there isn't a lot they can do with the movie, there's an invisible guy who's stalking. It's how those thrills and spills and scares are handled that does raise this slightly above the average bar. Like I said, good to really good, not great. Could you wait to see it at home? Sure. If you watched it in a nice dark room on a decent sized screen, I think it's one of those weird ones. Some of the shots are so well set up that it demands the movie or the cinema experience, but for the most part, you could wait for this to come out on Blu-ray and, watch it with a group of friends and save a buttload of money by just buying one copy of the disc or streaming it, however you want to watch it. Beautiful soundtrack score. That part was done really well. Elisabeth Moss as a person who I really like as an actress. I think she does a great job, all the way from Mad Men through to what's it called? The Handmaid's Tale, which is an intense series if you've never watched that. It's all really well done. She looks fantastic in the movie as someone who is aware that something's going on that she can't explain to anyone, and as a result looks as though she's slowly losing her mind. Later into the movie, as things do intensify, there are some fantastic moments where, things happen that you think, oh my God. As the little thrills and spills escalate, then you start to get some explanation as to why things are happening in a certain manner, and it just escalates everything so beautifully, leading right up to the final confrontation between the Invisible Man and the Elisabeth Moss character. It's well worth watching. Like I said, not necessarily at the cinema, but certainly well worth watching. And look, if you've got a cheap night or you've got a cinema where the seats are cheap, then certainly, get there and have a crack at it. It's a good night out, just simply not a great night out. But look, like I said, with any of these reviews, it's simply my opinion and how I felt about it when I watched it at the time. Thinking back on it, giving yourself a couple of days to digest what you've taken in, I would have started off saying it was of a lower quality than what I would have thought, but then I had the opportunity to think about the certain things that make the movie handle the way it does, and you realise they have put quite a lot of thought and effort into it. The special effects are fantastic, and they are quite believable. There's only one scene where I thought, oh, that didn't look quite right. But the acting by Elisabeth Moss really holds it all together. She is the glue that holds the movie together, and her reaction to what's going on throughout the entire story is believable. And just, she's just a gun. Well done, Elisabeth Moss. I'm sure when you're listening to this podcast, you'll go, fucking hell, I'm glad that Tori liked it. I like the movie. So go and check out The Invisible Man and, tell him I sent you, because that'll mean nothing to anyone. Tell him I sent you. In other news, I have read reports that the PlayStation 5 is rumoured to have 2 models coming out, and whether or not that's true, it's apparently from a reputable source who gets these leaks right, but they're saying that there might be 2 actual versions of the console release. We still don't have dates, we still don't really have pricing. Sony's been so tight-lipped. All we've got is that logo that basically looks like a PS4 logo, but with a 5 at the end. So will we be receiving another version of the console, a more powerful one? It'll be interesting because, the new one's already going to be more powerful than the PS4 Pro, and you'd expect that. But for there to be maybe another version of the console is certainly something that will be worth checking into and finding out if that is indeed the case. I'm excited for the new generation of consoles, both Xbox and Sony. It'll be interesting to see what comes out. I'd love to see if Xbox does actually have some exclusives that only play on that machine. However, the current version from Microsoft is that any of their new games will play all the way through to the original Xbox. And I do think that that is a lovely approach for the consumer, but it doesn't seem to really force anyone to go out there and buy one of those brand new shiny consoles. Which, by the way, on the design of the Xbox, it looks like a rectangle, which, sounds silly, but it looks like a desktop computer, but it's nice and black. It's very well styled, and it looks as though it can actually vent out the top. And that is so clever and so practical that I actually do think that it's well overdue, and the fact that this thing will generate a fair bit of heat, the fact that it's all venting out the top, should mean that you guys don't have to worry if you're going to get one of those consoles. I will at some point, but it will simply mean that you don't have to worry so much about overheating problems, which have been a bane of the current generation. All these machines have been venting out the back, and most of us have them in TV cabinets or on top of something facing a wall, and they vent out onto the wall and then straight back into the console. So it is one of those things. It's long overdue. It's great that it's been addressed. It looks as though it can vent out both sides of the console, which is also good. But I hope that there is something similar from Sony, that we can protect these consoles for as long as we can from these heating problems. In any case, it is just a rumour, the 2 Sony PlayStation 5s coming out, and we'll let you know as I find out more. I'll let you know what's going on there, and that way we can all be prepared for the big launch. But however, I would say if there is going to be 2 versions, they're going to come out between $500 to $600 US. So you Aussie listeners out there, I reckon we're going to be up for $700-800. I don't think they'll crack the $1,000 mark on us, even with currency differences, just simply because they'll price themselves out of the market, and a lot of people will just hold on to their PS4s. They're going to release the the games on both formats for some time, and yes, you'd get a better experience probably from the next generation's version. However, a lot of us will just be like, well, I can still play the game and it's still going to look magnificent because it's going to push my console as hard as it can go. And especially considering that the PlayStation 4 Pro does have the boost mode on it, it does mean that it should be able to handle the graphics for some time to come. And it isn't that old in terms of, console cycles, so a lot of you may still want to stick with the PlayStation for a little while longer until you find out exactly what's going on with price and performance. In any case, this has been The Growing Gamers. I hope you enjoyed my review of The Invisible Man. Go and check it out if you've got time and you don't mind a jump scare or two that may make a little bit of poo come out. But it's a good movie with a great actress and a great supporting cast, along with those fantastic special effects. So please stay in touch with the show. You can join the Facebook group on the Growing Gamers podcast. You can email me directly at thegrowinggamers@gmail.com. You can support the show financially if you choose to by going to patreon.com/thegrowinggamers. And also we do have a YouTube channel and you can find that on thegrowinggamers.com website or by simply going to YouTube and typing in The Growing Gamers. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will be back soon with some more content. If you do want to go to YouTube, I just released an unboxing video of the PlayStation DualShock 4 back button attachment, and it'll make you wonder, would that work with your games? It's super hard to get now, so well worth looking into now to see if you can nab one from somewhere before they all run out. Take care. Bye.